Throughout the world of Critical Role and Exandria, there exists a variety of different cultures, customs, and societies. However, out of these many nations, peoples, and religions, one stands out amongst the rest. One of the oldest societies in all of Exandria, a group bound by their faith and their pursuit of a higher purpose. Hello everyone, welcome back to FraudOnTheTele. Today I'd like to tell you all a story, the story of the Kryn Dynasty and the Bright Queen. As always, if you enjoyed this video, learn something new, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Don't forget to check out some of our other Critical Role content and our other Critical Role lore explained videos. This video is obviously going to contain spoilers for like all of the Critical Role campaigns, so consider yourselves warned. Enough stalling, let's just get right into the video. The origin of the Drow is not entirely known on the world of Exandria. Some claim that the betrayer god Lolth was their original creator in the founding, though it is not known for certain. What is known is that the Drow were once a wise, beautiful people with silvery hair and ashen-colored skin. But as time passed and the age of magic and technology advanced, the Drow societies began to become cold and cruel, their leadership slowly falling under the influence of Lolth, the Spider Queen, thus leading credence to the belief that Lolth was their original creator. When the betrayer gods were released from their prison, signaling the end of the Age of Arcanum and the start of the Great War of the Calamity, the Drow sided with their Spider Queen, vowing to be the vehicle of her vengeance against the elves and their creator, Corellin. But before Lolth and her Drow warriors could see a single battle, a mighty blow would be struck. Kord the Stormlord in his fury would impale Lolth against a cliffside, striking her down where she stood, sealing her away. The leaderless Drow would be driven from this world, forced to flee below the surface of Exandria. Here some would find the blood of their fallen queen, as it seeped down into the dark caverns and underdark of Exandria. In the many years that followed, some of these Drow, the ones most devoted to their Spider Queen, would drink of her blood, being granted horrible dark powers, their bodies twisting into monstrous forms of half-spider hybrids known as Driders. As the War of the Calamity raged above for years, the Drow would continue to descend into their manic worship of Lolth, until, one day, something was discovered, something deep within the Underdark. More than a century before the end of the Calamity, Leylas Kryn and a group of other Drow would discover a great light in the darkness beneath the great city of Gordronis. In the darkness, it called out to them, "You are not lost, child. You merely seek the question, who are we? What is our purpose?" What they found was the first of what would be known as the Luxon Beacon, a fragment of something greater, a potential greater being, a greater entity, believed to be known as the Luxon. According to the Kryn Dynasty, long ago when the universe was created, a single light would emerge from the darkness. Other lights would form around this first light, but these lights would settle in as stars. This single light, though, which would come to be referred to as the Luxon, resisted its urge to burn, its urge to be. Instead, it sought out self-knowledge. What am I? What is my purpose? The Luxon would travel aimlessly until it would discover a lonely rock, which did not know life or love. The Luxon embraced this rock, sparking a fire within its core, a fire of elemental chaos. In the planet, new life. The Luxon would scatter itself across Exandria, forming beacons. These beacons would enact a cycle of rebirth for those who had bound themselves to the light, in the hope that these beings, when given the opportunity to fail, would learn and mature, and that one day the Luxon would be rebuilt, at which point it would ask them, "What am I? What is my purpose?" With the re-imprisonment of the betrayer gods and the self-exile of the prime deities from the prime material plane, a group of Drow would emerge from beneath the city of Gordronis, having felt the absence of the divine presence across Exandria. Here Leylas Kryn, along with many of her allies, would emerge from the depths of Exandria. Here in the ruins of the betrayer god's city of Gordronis, they found a new home under a new banner, the Kryn Dynasty, devoted to one purpose, the gathering and reconstruction of the Luxon and the spreading of its light to the world. Here in the wastelands of the north of Wildmount, the mages of the Drow would darken the sun in order to protect their people. Here they would establish the capital city of Rosohna, a home for all of those who would follow the light and its beacons, great powerful dodecahedrons, which are at the heart of the Kryn's most important and sacred ritual, consecution. When an individual is soul-bound to the Luxon, when a consecuted's body dies within range of the beacon, their soul does not pass to the outer planes, but is instead drawn back into the body of a humanoid child, where the person is born once again. As this consecuted child grows older, they begin to recall memories of their past lives, and often are drawn towards Jorhas and Rosanna for answers. Through intense meditation, these children unlock bits and pieces of their past and memory, many after several cycles being able to unlock oneself, being known as a perfect soul, or what the Kryn refer to as the Umavi. This idea and this title of the Umavi are heavily inspired from Buddhism, probably more specifically Tibetan Buddhism and the cycle of the lamas. No, not those lamas, the other lamas, such as the Dalai Lama and the Panchen Lama. Leylas Kryn, the Empress of the Kryn Dynasty, is one but a few that discovered the Luxon Beacon, one of the first to be consecuted, a woman who has lived countless lifetimes. She is one of the few people alive in Exandria with memories of the calamity, which does make sense as she is by far one of the eldest people at over 1,200 years old, half of which she has ruled as Empress of the Kryn Dynasty, and is regarded as a complete Umavi. The beacon itself has led to the discovery of a new branch of magic known as dunamancy, or the manipulation of entropic, gravitational, and time energies. During the Age of Arcanum, the flying city of Aeor had discovered a Luxon beacon, which they referred to as the Relic. Through their experimentation, they had learned to channel its power, developing a way to time travel, essentially, into a point in one's history, leaving behind an anchoring echo. Much later, around 835 post-Divergence, a war would break out between the Kryn Dynasty and their neighbors, the Dwendalian Empire. The Kryn Dynasty believing that the Empire had stolen 2 of its beacons, when in reality they had been given by a traitor to the dynasty, to the Cerberus Assembly, a cabal of mages in the Dwendalian Empire. At some point in 836 PD, after the end of the war with the Dwendalian Empire, the dynasty sought a 6th beacon, which was found in the Ghostlands. Leylas Kryn had recently had a dream from the Luxon, which showed her a new soul that had been formed within the beacon itself, a child of light incarnate that would be born to Leylas and their partner Quanah. While obtaining the 6th beacon, Quanah, the general of the Kryn army, was betrayed and abducted by agents of Lolth, the betrayer god, who hated the Kryn dynasty for hundreds of years, and the beacons for weakening her following in the wake of the calamity. Leylas had her soldiers search for the betrayer, the goblin Drika, who told the Empress she had been forced to act by the betrayer god Lolth. Drika led Leylas to the ancient city of Bazzoxan. Here, Leylas would enter a passage carved out by the Stormlord himself during the calamity, a passage for the god's mortal champions to enter and travel to the blackness of the abyss. Only through the use of a magical pendant, the Stormlord's heart, the symbol of the champion of the Stormlord, can one enter safely and exit safely. Here she would find and save her partner Quanah and the beacon, though not without some trauma, as Leylas would suffer an attack from the Spider Queen. After their return, Leylas would be haunted by visions of Lolth. Although the woman had never physically entered the abyss, having used a manifest echo spell, she still felt as though a part of her had never left this darkness. With the 6th beacon collected, the events of Leylas' visions began to unfold, as Quanah would become pregnant with a child believed to be conceived through the Luxon. As news of this light child spread, so did the influence of the dynasty. Leylas would travel the lands of Wildemount, thousands flocking to her to be consecuted to join the Kryn's mission. One day their young child, Celestis, I think that's how you pronounce this? The bright child was playing when a black portal appeared. The child stepping through it, they would later be found in the beacon room, with 2 murdered soldiers scattered around them. Leylas seeing the child shifting from a monstrous spider's form. In this moment, Leylas realized to their horror that the beacon they had found had been with Lolth far longer than they had imagined. Leylas believed it had become twisted, and through it, the Spider Queen was able to influence her visions and her dreams, even corrupting their own child. It was decided this child must be destroyed. Quanah, along with her men, would take the child out of the range of the beacon, so they would not reincarnate. But the woman did not have the heart to kill her own child. In the confusion, the toddler would transform into the monstrous Drider, killing these men as Quanah watched on in horror, finally taking her sword, killing her own monstrous child. Quanah taking a mortal wound in the process. Both, however, would be reborn, Quanah being saved by Leylas, her body being dragged into the range of the beacon. Years later, the two would reunite, pursuing their lost child, who had also been revived, a monster once again rampaging across the wastes of Xhorhas. With all of this, the Luxon is still a major mystery in the world of Exandria and Critical Role. It's possible the information the Kryn believe about the Luxon is completely wrong, but we simply do not know at this time, as much of the nature of the beacons and the Luxon has yet to be explored and explained definitively. Be it a god, a celestial being, or the essence of life itself, there is no denying the power of the Luxon beacons and the fervor in which those follows the way of the Luxon, the way of the Bright Queen. And yes, I hope you enjoyed this story, the story of the Bright Queen, the story of the Drow people, and the worship of the Luxon, one of the most interesting and fascinating forces in all of Critical Role lore, a area which I'm sure over the many years to come will be further fleshed out. The Luxon is absolutely fascinating. It is completely different from all other godlike entities in the world of Exandria. Me personally, it does very much seem like it is kind of the essence of life itself, but I guess really only time will tell. As always, if you did enjoy the video, please make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, as it really does help this channel out and help me grow and help push these videos into the algorithm. If you did enjoy this video and are a big fan of Critical Role lore, then why don't you click on screen now and check out some of our many other additions in the Critical Role lore explained series. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. It means the world to me. I hope to see you in the next one. Stay safe out there. Until next time, peace, love, others.